Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Nate Washington is smarter than us, which is why we enjoy his presence on the radio show. Robert, the Zoom connection has been fraught. What is your level of confidence that we're going to get to Nate Washington on the first try?
I am supremely confident.
I heard that beautiful laugh. Nate Washington joins us on 104.5 The Zone. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for making the time. As always, your boy, Alec Manor, is a stud. You called it out the gate. His game on Sunday was one of the few highlights out of that game. What are you seeing from him right now within the scope of what they're trying to accomplish?
If we're honest, his game has been the highlight of the season thus far. Watching him progress, watching the connection build with Cam and the trust build with the two connecting, and it's just been something that this team has needed. Unfortunately, this offense hasn't performed in any realm of anything we expected. Watching training camp and preseason and those things come to fruition. But at the same time, it's like watching Alec, I knew this was going to be a possibility. I knew he had some tools that this team could take advantage of, and I'm even looking more forward to watching him advance and progress and become better throughout this time.
Okay. We love positives. By the way, you look great. You brought the ring light. You're on your A game today. We love to see Nate Washington broadcast professional. Makes me very happy. On the opposite side of this, what on earth do I do with Calvin Ridley?
Oh man, he needs a real reality check. And I don't know if it's there. I don't know if the coaches are connecting. I don't know if it's the environment. I don't know what it is, but something's not turning on. And it has to be an understanding that not only does your salary require you to do more, but, your veteran leadership is required. Your veteran leadership for the years that you've been in this league and the experience that you've had, going your ups and the downs, the perseverance, the hard work, the dedication it takes to, succeed on this level. You have experience with this, so to see it not turning over is definitely disappointing. Not only as a fan, but as an alumni of the team and somebody that's continuing to evaluate this team. You're looking at a $90 million man that's underperforming. I understand having bad games. I understand, having a catcher to here get away from you, but the consistency and the reliability is the thing that concerns me the most. Being a veteran, being a leader on this team, being an assumed captain, you have to understand, bad plays happen, but when it comes time to be reliable and show up for this team, you have to be there, and he hasn't.
That's the thing that, and I don't know what's fair here, Nate, because I feel like people jump to conclusions about an athlete's mindset or work ethic or all these different things that come up that people really, it's not like the athlete is going to go back at the fans that way when they're making these kind of arguments, but he's just such a weird case to me because he's supposed to be the cheat code. Like, they don't have that many cheat codes for the rookie quarterback, Nate. And if I'm a Titans fan, I'm tearing my hair out because the one thing that I thought I had for Cam Ward to be able to rely upon is one of the things that is arguably letting him down the most. Is that a fair characterization?
Man, I think it was at the end of spring or it was at the beginning of training camp. I tweeted, I said, I'm seeing all of the film. I'm hearing the raving reviews for a couple of guys, but I'm going to wait till week 3. And then you turn around with this opportunity to join you weekly and have my thoughts be relayed. But, I wanted to wait. I seen the film. I seen the reports about, what was going on in training camp, the joint practices, the preseason games, the connection in practice. But, people don't understand. That's why I'm always preaching needing to play in the preseason games, because getting in those games and that game atmosphere is totally different. You feel totally different. Your body responds totally different. You get a little more tired than you would, or you may be a little more relaxed, and those things need to be practiced on a live basis. And I knew coming out of this preseason, it was a up in the air type of situation on what to expect. And as you stated, coming out of this situation and having a guy in Calvin Ridley, being paid what he's being paid and and the expectations that come along with his veteran leadership, yes, you expected more. You expected out of the gate, if anything, for him to be reliable. Now, us finding our way through this offense, us finding our way through the scheme and trying to get on the same page with the timing of a young quarterback, I get it. Those things take time. But you're not being reliable when it's being hit in your hands. And one thing Hines Ward told me a long time ago was, it doesn't matter where the ball is. If it touches your hands, you should catch it. And that's something that, I personally took pride on throughout my career of trying to make bad plays turn into good by being more resilient and consistent after a bad play. But I just haven't seen it from Calvin at all.
Nate Washington, well, it's just that you saying things about playing in the preseason. Brian Callahan said after the first preseason game, we know what we have in Calvin Ridley. We don't need to see him out there. And we took it, sight unseen at the time. And now, I'm questioning, do you actually know? Nate Washington with us on 104.5 The Zone.
Nate, what did... Go ahead.
I was going to say it's quite strange he made that statement about we knowing what we have in Calvin, and to be quite honest, with all due respect, but we don't know what we have in Brian Callahan. Like, we haven't seen it turn the corner yet. We haven't seen a collective ball game of complementary football where all cylinders are hitting. Offensive line, defensive line, secondary, receivers. This tight end group has been out of the question. We haven't even seen them at all. I'm tired of seeing tunnel screens from our 6'5" tight ends. Let's get them some passes on the field. So, at the end of the day, we haven't seen, or know what we have in Brian Callahan until we see it all put together.
Fair criticism from Nate Washington. At NWash85, of course, is where you can follow along on Twitter.
What have you made, Nate, of the way offensively they've just kind of sputtered in second halves? 9 total points through the second half in 2 games. Obviously, only 30 yards of offense in the second half against Denver. It took a dip again against Los Angeles. Is there anything specific that you're noticing that you're seeing the offense struggle to do in the second half that maybe they were starting to pick up some momentum on in the second quarter of games?
Well, here's the thing. You come into these games with a game plan, right? You go through them all week. You have situational practices where you go through first, second, third downs. You go through all of these scripts and all these things. And a lot of these times, these coaches, they come into these games understanding that first half is pretty much understood what you want to get accomplished. But in the league, everybody gets paid, obviously, including defensive coordinators. So as you're putting this script together for your first half, somewhere throughout that second quarter, a defensive coordinator is going to start understanding what you're trying to accomplish, right? I feel like going and watching the film for myself, I'm not seeing enough quick game. I'm not seeing enough trust in Cam, being able to connect on quick game and being able to get these offenses rolling, right? Also not seeing the consistency in our run game, something that I spoke about in the preseason, hoping that would carry this offense and a young Cam Ward. But it's not there. You got a couple plays where you get 3 or 4 yards here and there, which is really commendable when you're thinking about staying on track for a first, second, and third down. But here it is, you get away from your run game and you're getting into these pass games. And I'm seeing these pass games and I'm looking at them, and I actually tweeted about it the other day. It's becoming very frustrating. You have a group of young guys that don't understand scheme, don't understand timing, don't understand spacing, and don't understand landmarks. You have a lot of routes stacked on top of each other, a lot of routes going separate ways instead of getting a flowing offense where Cam can read top to bottom. And I think that's a lot of the issue when you get into these second halves. I don't see, really any attacking in the middle of the field. They're asking Cam to read outside of the numbers a lot. And that's hard. That's hard for a veteran quarterback, So when you think about pass game and you think about trying to get this offense rolling, a couple of the things that I would love to see is, attacking the middle of the field, quick game, and maybe a hurry-up offense so you can get this offense rolling a little quicker and getting the defense a little tired.
So far, only 80 yards of offense through 2 games, 110 yards of total offense through 2 games, 80 yards against the Rams. the touchdown pass. First one of the season, only one they've scored so far this year. Cam Ward, 8-9 seconds rolling around. I mean, we've gone through all the next-gen stats, the success probability of that play, the touchdown to Alec Manor. We were having the discussion in the last segment, Nate. We played the audio of Zaire Franklin saying, not a good throw. And maybe there's a difference between good throw, smart throw. Where do you fall on this, on that play by Cameron Ward? Good throw, smart throw? What's the verdict for you?
Here's the thing. Wise decision? No. You never want to put your quarterback in a position to have to make that play on a consistent basis, correct? Right? But as far as the throw, amazing. Outstanding. You couldn't ask for that throw to be any better. You couldn't ask for it to be in a better spot. You couldn't ask for it to be better height. You couldn't ask for it to be any better. If the situation was the same, 10 out of 10, that play is going to be caught. I understand that it's not a good decision, but that ball in that spot for Alec to be able to make that play is an outstanding throw. I heard you guys speaking about this earlier, and I totally agree. It was an exact thought that I had when I heard it. If that's Pat Mahomes, we're not even having this conversation.
Sure.
And it's
no, Nate, if it's Pat Mahomes, we talk about it for 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No doubt. You know, but I think in regards to, is it a good throw? You never question a Pat Mahomes on that throw. And I think not only is this something this organization is going to have to understand, that you have a possible Pat Mahomes talent in your locker room right now. And this organization is going to have to understand that. His fan base is going to have to understand that. His teammates are going to have to understand that. You're going to see some unconventional plays, but you're going to see a guy that's willing to go out there and lay it all on the line and make his team win.
Because another play we have not talked about on this show at all is second half when Cam is going to ground and just flips it over to Gunnar Helm, right? Like, you talk about Mahomes-esque, that's what that was,
that's
too.
Levis-esque.
The Will Levis killer, huh?
But that's what I'm saying.
Nate,
like,
if his last name is Levis, we are crucifying him today.
Sure. But, like, Levis tried to do that with Tyjae Spears, right? When Spears had nothing but defenders around him, the best-case scenario of that
Will
play.
threw it backwards without seeing him.
Whereas Cam, it's like Gunnar Helm is kind of by himself there, and he manages to get it before his knee touches, and it's a few yards rather than no gain. What did you make of that play? Just striking that balance, Nate, of leaning into that stuff, because for so long, how often did people say Pat Mahomes needs to dial it back with that stuff before just embracing it? Like, how do you ride that line now with Cameron Ward when it's clearly just an instinctive part of his game?
It's growing pains, but, you know, as we speak on the difference between him and Will, it's obvious, and it's no disrespect to Will, but it takes a tremendous talent to pull off some of those plays. It takes a tremendous athletic ability to be able to be in those positions to make those plays. So when you see this guy, there's gonna be some growing pains. You know, there's gonna be some things that, you know, we wish he may not have done. But, you know, it kind of reminds me of my whole high school basketball coach. You know, we had a guy that played on our team, and he would constantly shoot 35, 40-footers, right? And as soon as the ball leave his hand, our coach would be like, Ryan, no, Ryan. As soon as the ball go in, he'd be like, good shot, you know? So that's what it reminds me of, man. You're going to have some growing pains with this kid, but the athletic ability and his talent, you have to allow him to go out there and play football the way he's always done.
It's just one of those things. No, yes!
Yeah, definitely.
Nate Washington at NWash85 is where you can follow him along. The great Nate Washington joining us now on 104.5 The Zone, as he does weekly. They're playing the Colts. You've played in this game before. You've also played in the AFC North, so you're no stranger to divisional rivalries. The Colts game in particular, what is the significance to that locker room? It's not quite collegiate, right? College rivalries are huge. Once you get to the NFL, it doesn't quite carry the same weight, but it feels like Titans and Colts is always a game that both fan bases relish the opportunity to just stick it to the other team.
Man, you know what? It's only one fan base that stays in my comment section. Crying, whining, wanting to troll, and it's the Colts. I've always had a problem with the Colts, man, you know, but I think, you know, as far as the rivalry, you know, coming from the AFC North playing there for 4 years and coming to the AFC South, I was really unfamiliar with the whole AFC South and the energy in itself, but playing in that North, dag near every year, every game in the AFC North is a battle. So coming there, I had expectations, but I played the Jags when I was with the Titans. The energy was okay. Played against the Texans. It was a little bit more energy, being that Vince Young had some connection to Houston. And then we played the Colts, and realizing the fan base, realizing the energy of playing in Lucas Field and that energy of playing in that dome, man, it definitely had became a rival for me personally. I always wanted to play well against the Colts because I knew they were the standard of the AFC South. They were the expectation, the guys you had to beat in order to be playoff significant, and I knew if we had an opportunity to beat the Colts in any year that we played them in, that we had a significant chance to go out and produce in the playoffs. So, I think this is an understanding that, especially how they're playing now, they're playing on all cylinders. They're playing some good football. And I think this team understands, you're coming into your first divisional game. You have to perform with expectations. This receiving core is definitely going to have to be on point. Their front seven is amazing. They're going to be able to get to the quarterback. They're going to be able to make some plays. So that counter punch is going to have to be there. And the main thing is just catching the ball. So it's going to be a good game. I'm looking to see how this defense faces against their offense. They've been playing well over there as well. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the rivalry, and I hope they play with the same type of energy, understanding that this is an AFC South division opponent, and not only opponent, but someone that you're going to have to go through to make a playoff run.
Just catch the damn ball. Just catch the damn ball, Nate.
Real quick, I want to know, who is Tiffin's biggest rival?
Ooh.
Who do the Tiffin Dragons just despise? Is it Finley?
Oh, man. I think it'd probably be Finley University. They're about 15, 20 minutes from us, man. And now them being in our conference and us playing them once a year, it's kind of been a little battle back and forth, man. They've created a trophy for the game. And I'm excited every time we play them this year, every year, actually.
Buddy, I appreciate your time as always. Thanks for catching up. We'll do it again next week.
All right, buddy. See y'all next week, man.
That's
Thanks,
the
Nate.
main man,
Love
Nate
you, Nate.
Washington. Stop it. Oh, did that hurt you?
He didn't hear you, buddy.
No, I think he did.
No.
I think he heard you loud and clear.
He didn't hear you.
I mean, you had the opportunity to prepare him to be showered in.
But that's not the game.
No, we were all talking over each other.
No, he
and
saw it. Look, here, I'm going to put his face back up on screen. He definitely heard it.
Nate, did you hear Robert tell you that he loves you?
No, he's gone. I'm saying, look, you could see his face when I said it. Look at you can tell he's like, bye. Goofy goober.
He loves you.
I don't think he thinks about you at all.
Probably not. Not until he's like, who keeps messing up my Zoom connection?
I do feel so bad for you because that's not on you. That's the Zoom thing is not on you. I don't know what the hell's happening with Zoom lately, but it feels like a nightmare every time we try it. We had to prep Nate Washington on the front end to get through that segment well.
I think I got it fixed, so I think we're good to go.
Well done by you. We'll talk about Thursday Night Football between the Bills and the Dolphins.